want to. Feel free. What's up, guys? It is your girl, Sarah from Sarah Sounds here. We were talking all the scoop backstage about Poshfest. Just letting them know you guys may or may not hear all of the dish live. So we'll see how much gets covered today, but we are getting straight into it. This is going to be recapping Poshfest 2021. Those who are new to the channel or new to Poshmark and everything. So Poshfest is their annual, conference that they do every year. Usually it's somewhere fun in person, and they have a couple days of content and parties and stuff. Last year it was virtual. I spoke last year and attended virtual. This year it was supposed to be in Orlando. Things kind of headed south with the new Delta variant, and so they pulled the plug on that and did it virtual. But I didn't attend, so I'm just as excited as everyone watching here to hear, because I kind of caught some stuff on social media. Some of it's on YouTube that I did watch. So I'm excited to hear how it went. And it's sounding like, from what I'm hearing on social media, that it was better than last year. But last year they were virtual for the first time. So I think some of that was trying to get the hiccups. Usually I do a little introduction. We get to know each other. We have so much content. This is Deneen and Ashley. If you guys do not follow them, they are amazing content creators in the reselling, Poshmark definitely, but in the reselling community in altogether. Their handles are linked down below. So if you guys have further questions or you just want to give them a follow, definitely highly recommend that. We're going to get right into it. If you guys attended Poshfest, let me know in the live chat if there's things that you would like to share that we are missing out, or you have some, tea that you want to spill. Just let us know in the chat. So I want to start kind of with the State of the Union. Manish comes on every year and kind of does, this is where we're at, where we've been, kumbaya, let's talk about Poshfest or Poshmark. So I watched it. It is on YouTube if you guys did not go to Poshfest and you want to watch that. I watched it, and I was telling them about this. I got the feeling from him, in years past, they've been very much about making it easy. And I've said that they weren't necessarily a platform made for resellers. Not that they didn't want us, but it's not made for us. And I got the sense from the State of the Union that might be changing a little bit. He actually mentioned small businesses and resellers and scaling, and some of the tools that they actually implemented look like useful. Yes, not like here's a tool, but then like it doesn't do anything for us. So I don't know if you guys want, if you guys had any notes on the State of the Union, anything specific you wanted to talk about, or kind of the feel about it.
So for me, I feel like the State of the Union, when he first kind of talked on like more high level, here are some of the features. Like, I think, for example, the My Shopper. At first I was like, oh, we're already kind of doing that. But as we go into more of like the hackathon and the new featured workshops, I began to realize, okay, no, this is actually valuable. And I began to realize how much time I spend actually going to the bundles, like looking through the likes, and then going to that bundle, adding the likes in, and then doing the comments. Like, they're going to make that a little more streamlined. So I felt like there was a lot more hope. It gave me a little more excitement about looking at Poshmark as like the full-time income, because I feel like for me right now, I have to be on multiple reseller platforms to make a full-time income from it. But I've always Poshmark's my baby. It's where I got started. It's where I love helping people. I feel like it's the best entry to get into reselling, and very beginner level in that regard. So I've always wanted to be able to tell people with passion that, yes, you can make a full-time income off of Poshmark. But I feel like unless you're doing very high, average sales prices, and it's just really tough. And I think that they began to kind of acknowledge like, hey, we are hearing you. We're working behind the scenes. We're doing our due diligence. And yes, for the first time, I actually felt like he was speaking to full-time resellers.
Agreed. Deneen, did you see the State of the Union, or were you, we reverse real quick. Deneen was on the pre-party. So before it even started, so she was probably sleeping in because she had a late night because she got everything going, right? So you put on the pre-party. It was virtual. Tell us a little bit about that, and then we'll pop back into the State of the Union.
Well, that was a lot of work, but we had planned everything for in person. Yeah. And we had already planned almost a 200-person event. We were almost filled to capacity, and then we had to start from scratch. Literally start from scratch, refund everybody, because not everybody wanted to go to a Zoom or knows how to do Zoom and all that sort of thing. and redo the entire event, create a theme. You know, for us, it was always breast cancer awareness. So I love to incorporate charity in with the Poshmark events that I do. So that was a no-brainer.
I bought a ticket because it goes to a donation. And I was like, whether I go or not, it goes. And I didn't end up going because it was my son's.
And you were a sponsor, and that meant the world to us. We had an amazing team, and we all worked together. It was behind the scenes. We were conversing daily, but you know, things happen in life, and you know, people on vacation and this and that, but the whole team came together, and you know, we did our due diligence. We put out marketing for it, so all the work leading up to it, and then we hired this amazing company. We host events, and they really helped to keep everything on time, do a pink carpet. Manish came on. He spoke. We had a little birthday cake, you know, and we were like,
yes, because it's their 10-year. It's their 10-year as well. So that was kind of a big deal.
That's the year, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and then that was it. So we were like emotionally, we were exhausted. So yes, I got up a little bit late the next day. And when I did log on, you know, I've been able, because if you don't know, you can go back on now. I think, I don't know if you guys know the exact date. I heard it was the 14th, if you have a ticket, and replay it and rewatch it. I don't know if it's on YouTube, but
yeah. Ashley, do you know if they're putting any of it? The State of the Union's on YouTube, but are they putting any of it public?
I don't know if what else they're going to put public. It makes so much sense that Manisha's is up there, but yeah, I've been doing the replays on Hopin today, and I believe there's a specific time on Thursday, but at first I thought it was like Tuesday, so I was like hustling, trying to like watch as much as possible, but I was glad to see that they had it extended out, but I don't think they're going to add anything else, which is why I think us just kind of doing a recap is going to be very valuable to people.
Yes. Yeah. Because last year they put it all on YouTube. But it was for a short period of time. And like eBay's open, they have all on YouTube, although I've never gone back and watched anything. It's so time consuming. But that's where, like, if you go in person, right, like that's all you're doing. It's not like last year I was for the eBay open, I'm home. So I'm like trying to watch while managing kids and picking up kids, you know, where you go there, like that's all you're doing. So I think that is one of the downfalls. Let me check in with the chat. Thank you guys, everyone, so much for joining.
Hello, everyone.
Lots of happy faces here. If you guys didn't see Ebliss, they were in one of the parties. Was it your party or was it the other one?
Yes, they were also a sponsor, a big corporate sponsor.
All dressed up. If you guys don't know Ebliss, Jade was all dressed up, and yeah, it was funny. Head over to their channel and watch. A lot of people are saying, so Soul Inspired Seller, great content creator. Make sure to follow her. But I thought it was way more business focused. And I think Girly Girl Styles, if you guys don't follow Tori, she's one of my favorite people. I'm not even gonna say reseller. She is one of my favorite people. I felt he was more focused on the business aspect, and it was definitely great to see. So I want to get into a couple things because Terry at Evolving Always is saying the shopper is definitely valuable. So that's a little bit of what Ashley was referring to. And I think they'll probably get more into it with the hackathon reveal. But the three things that he kind of mentioned, so they now have an SVP of seller experience
or thing-ish. Yeah, wasn't it Lynn, I think?
Or Tracy?
Or no, yeah, Tracy. Yeah.
Okay. Either way, but they have like a dedicated team to like helping the other side, the seller experience. And three things that they mentioned in the State of the Union, and then we'll come back because the hackathon, they usually reveal, you know, more, and I didn't see that. So I'm excited to hear from that. But the three things they said during the State of the Union is this one-on-one shopper experience, like Ashley had mentioned before, where I think a lot of us who are resellers do it anyway. You know, we create a bundle and then we start the conversation, but it does get time consuming when you have, you know, 100 likes that day trying to do it and figure out who's real and he mentioned previous buyers. So I'm wondering, did he mention anything further about like
through the hackathon they alluded, and it was kind of weird because they did a little bit in the hackathon and then they were like, now go to this workshop to watch like demos, and I'm like, the amount of layers you had to go through to actually really understand what all the three features were. It took some time, but yeah, they are basically, it's going to be in My Seller Tools. So you basically have to like request almost as if it's like a report, but it still shows up on the app. It'll go, okay, so here's all of the previous buyers. You can filter it, previous buyers, likes, and then I think it was something like bundles or something to the tune of that. And you can filter it and see, okay, here's all of the people who are previous buyers. And then the neat thing is it'll actually show you, I think it said in red, how recently they had interacted with your store. So if someone's just liking your items, it'll say they've liked something within the last 3 minutes. So then it creates a little more urgency for, at least for me. I'd be like, okay, I should reach out to this person ASAP because they're actually in my store right now. So I did like that, but you do have to request it. And that was what was kind of throwing me off at first. Yeah.
But so then can you do stuff from there? Because something I find frustrating within the app is I'm trying to think of when I want to do this. Trying to think, but I want to like find someone and talk, like click them and you can't. So you have to like remember their name and go find them. Oh, like when you want to add to a bundle, right? They're like, oh, can you add something? And then you, instead of like being able to automatically add more to their bundle, you have to remember their ridiculous name.
Right. When you're trying to add it into.
Yeah. So I wonder if in that report, if
yes.
you straight from there and actually communicate with them. All right. So the second thing that they had mentioned too, y'all know I'm going to be excited about this, is the closet insight. I kind of knew I couldn't say anything, but I knew this was being worked on from some, other resellers higher up that were working on the team to do it. So I'm excited. They said it's available now. Obviously they do rollout, right? So they do rollouts. I don't know anyone who has it yet. So
I don't have it.
Yeah, I've been checking the app like all the time because I want to see what it looks like. They showed a couple of screenshots. It's definitely more than what we had before because we have anything. The screenshots were okay. I'm hoping it's a little bit more. I don't know. What do you guys think about this other insight, or what did other things did they say?
Well, go ahead. You go ahead.
What I really liked about it was it is going to be in real time. So it will be nice to be able to see in real time, like how your sales are, what is it looking like for the month, comparing it to the previous year. The other thing I really enjoyed was the sales. So you can see, hey, category wise, I'm selling really well in jackets. Well, let's see what I have in my inventory right now. Wow, compared to the rest of my store, I'm actually getting really low in jackets. So next time I go sourcing, I should probably be focusing on jackets. So I liked that there was kind of that real time that it'll play with both your inventory that you have in stock as well as like what you have in sales, and not have to worry about trying to input that information like constantly.
Yes, right. Like export a CSV. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've made some money off of it selling spreadsheets. But it's so much better if it's just there, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And I will be happy when no one has to buy my spreadsheets anymore because I have access to what they need. So that's exciting. I'm excited to see it and play with it. I have some reservations because I'm picky, but it's better than what it was, right? And they said views too, right? You're going to be able to see views of your items.
I believe so. I think that there was quite a few things. I was trying to listen to it this morning while I was hanging up clothes and photographing since this weekend was focused on Poshfest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did feel like it was a little jam-packed and that they are going to continue to be adding to it. I actually, now that I think about it, I think the insight they said in the hackathon that it's like the end of this month that we should all be seeing it. I think the one that was like a now was the My Shopper.
Oh, yeah, because I just saw the little thing on top of Poshmark, and I clicked on that, and they said now, but then it showed the 3 different things. So that could be
okay.
Yeah,
well, I took some notes on that, and I know for me, I've already used the My Shoppers, and it was quite easy.
Oh, okay.
Girl, I went on there. It took me 5 minutes, but a lot of people downloaded it right after the event and took them over an hour. I think because it was so in demand. But you can comment, you can take likes, and you can bundle them. So
it's under My Seller Tools.
That's from My Shoppers.
See, I don't have that. I still don't have that.
You could see the prospective buyers alongside the past buyers. I have to take notes for everyone, so I don't remember everything. Okay?
I'm looking at my phone. I have pictures and notes.
Oh yeah, I listen to the State of the Union and have notes. I don't.
Yeah, I like the way that you can filter everything. I took notes specifically on the hackathon just because of this aspect. But getting back to the closet insights, the top brand, the size, the colors. You can look basically by days of the week, what items sell the best, your net earned in the sales data, number of listings sold, and you can toggle in between the data dates. And those are the notes that I have on that, which I found was interesting.
That will be nice. I'm excited. That'll be nice. Keep an eye out for a video. Maybe I'll do like a how-to and what is
Oh,
this
you totally should. I think it'll be, I was even thinking that I'm like, the way that these features are, they are going to be so in depth. Like they had to demo on the screen how to use a lot of these. So I think, especially we as the content creators are going to need to get that out to other people because it was a lot for even me to process.
And I think this is kind of where Poshmark has debated me. I don't know the right word, but in the past, because they want to be a simple platform, but then we want more tools. And then, I mean, look at eBay. Like eBay has all of these crazy tools, but then it gets really, really complex, right? And so I think they're trying to find like, how do we get these tools in? So keep an eye out on all of our pages. We will be doing content creation on how to actually use these now that you have them. Let me check with the chat. If you guys, if there's things that you want to add, definitely feel free to add them. Things that you got out of it as well. I'm listening while I'm getting my nails done. I love the dedication.
And you're girl. She actually said in there, the bulk listing is coming at the end of the month, and she is right. So I knew there was one coming at the end of the month. The other caveat to that, which I really enjoyed, was bulk listing is actually only going to be for Posh ambassadors. So I literally just had this last week from Instagram. Someone messaged me and go, I'm really close to Posh ambassador. Is it worth getting? And still at this point, I was like, well, when they went public, like we could get stocks earlier, but there still is not that much of a reason for people, an incentive to do that. So the fact that they made bulk listing strictly for you are a Posh ambassador in order to use that, I'm like, okay, now they're starting to show if you want to take this seriously, you need to take this step, and then we'll start to provide you with more features. So I think there might be more to come with that.
Yeah, because he had kind of mentioned too in the State of the Union, but kind of dabbled in there being more features and more, I don't know if reviews is the right word, but even within Posh ambassadors saying like, because
the gold badge, yeah.
Yes, thank you. So like he's saying, because you get on Poshmark and you don't know how good anyone really is, right? And I have people, friends of mine that are like, oh my God, I want to shop on there again. I emailed and this person never sent it. And I'm like, but there are also like resellers that do this. Right. And so I think, I think
which leads into the highlighting of the sellers aspect, because they're going to include all that.
Oh,
when
nice.
They highlight the sellers.
Yeah,
all your love notes, your number of items sold, things like that.
Your active listings. They'll start to give those stats at the end of your listings.
So
and a Posh protection reminder.
See, now this is, I mean, from our perspective, I like it, but they're getting away from like their original purpose because that's pushing out the people who are legitimately just cleaning out their closets, right?
Yeah.
Which is why I think they've delayed in doing this for so long. And the shareholders were like, you got to make us money. Like, this is how you're going to do it. I'm making that up. I don't know that. I'm not in these meetings. Take it for what it is.
I will say, actually, with you saying that, Sarah, I actually told my husband when I was thinking and processing like the different talks, I was like, I think I heard 3 or 4 different times. And obviously it was based on the topic that the staff was talking about it. But I heard multiple times from different staff members, we don't make money if you're not making money. So that was kind of the, I think, little segue into kind of being like, hey, we know like we need to step this up to see an increase in our revenue as an app.
Yeah. If you have 100 listings in your closet, but you're inactive and you're not doing anything, like they're not making money. They're paying money to have that server for that to be on.
Yeah.
All right. Tori is saying, I still want to see where my shoppers are coming from, and I'll take any insight I can get. Sarah's dashboard is still going to be a valuable tool. Oh, thanks, Tori. And that's kind of what I feel. I feel like I was telling my husband, I haven't seen it yet. I feel like most people will probably be okay with what's in the app and they'll probably slowly start adding to it. But people like me and Tori who want like the super in-depth details will still use our spreadsheets. As well. I would love to see how many views of my listings receive. I think they said that's coming. Because we all know likes don't mean shit. Although I had something I
got to laugh. I'm sorry.
I listed something last week and it got like 8 likes within an hour, and I posted on my Instagram, is this going to sell fast or is it? And it actually sold the same day. But that's like the only time I think it's ever happened. Usually you have a zillion likes and you list it 14 times. Okay. I'm just making sure we are good with all.
Well, they also said with the bulk listings, it's only accessible from your computer. which I thought was interesting. But the dashboard, you're going to have a dashboard alongside of that you're going to be able to look at from an inventory management standpoint. So you're going to be able to reference it at any given time.
I'm glad you brought that up because that's where we left off. And I was looking at the chat. So my questions on that, is it so you can bulk upload is what you're talking about? Like how if you do like
Correct.
Shopify or something, you can, so you would just.
So you can create a template and then you can load it in and you can bulk upload, but it looks like from when I saw it, because I kind of knew about this feature ahead of time as well. When I saw it, it looks like, an Excel spread word sheet, and then you're uploading it all into Poshmark. You can bulk upload it from your computer.
In their format though. So I'm wondering for those of us who are on multiple platforms, it's probably not much easier because you wouldn't do like you'd have to do one extra step, right? It'll be interesting to see.
I think so. I found it, honestly, I found it a little bit confusing, but that was when it was in beta stage. So
yeah, we'll see. And that's what 5 resellers are saying. Great points on simplifying. If it gets too complicated, it may scare some people away. Maybe they'll put the advanced stuff in the area that won't confuse the beginners. And I've said this for a while, and this is why eBay does what they do. They have different level stores, but keep it the same for the people who just want to clean out their closet. But then, and I'm wondering if this is where they're headed with it, the ambassador stuff and giving us status and giving us certain tools. So all this complex stuff, you don't have to see it. You don't have to worry about it unless you've made a certain status, right? And then once you're at ambassador, you probably want it or you're willing to not be overwhelmed with it.
Yeah, I feel like those who are well-established resellers, this is what I was telling my husband with today. I was like, when I looked at the bulk listing, I was like, it's a good feature if someone is just on Poshmark and or this is the first place that they do list their items and then they cross-list to other platforms. But like you were saying too, Sarah, if someone's already has a different rhythm in their business and maybe has virtual assistants already surrounded with a different way to mold their business, bulk listings might not be something that you want to jump on. But I think for those who are like, hey, I'm really wanting to get like 20 items up and I want to do it quick, this might be the really good tool for it. It reminds me a lot of the bulk editor and the bulk lister in eBay, but instead of it being like on the eBay website and then you've got their like spreadsheet, if you will, this legitimately looks like this takes you into like your Excel on your computer, which is why you have to do it at a laptop or a computer. And then you upload it and then it'll tell you if, hey, there's a couple things that are like in error. You might need to go back and change this. But that's what I'm kind of confused on because I feel like everything with Poshmark, like for example, let's think about categories. Like you can't just type in, I think sweaters, like there's a specific regimen that they have it. Like you need to go into women's and clothing or sweaters and you know what I mean?
On eBay, you can hand type what you want in. It won't come up on a filter. I don't recommend doing that, but it wouldn't give you an error. Where on Poshmark, like the listing would not be able to go live unless you select.
Yeah, it'll show you and you can save it in draft form. They also mentioned with the photos, you could send them a zip file. So that's where I think 5 resellers were saying like it can get a little complex.
Yeah.
And
no, I have a virtual assistant video and I have a lot of people that are like, that's too techie for me. And that's all I'm doing is like sending a zip file and sending, so I think definitely, but I think that's probably where they're headed with this ambassador stuff. We have a couple questions with this. I think we'll head into the hackathon in case there's anything else that we missed because we're kind of in that realm. And then, okay. And then we'll get into some of the breakout sessions and stuff too. So a couple questions we're asking, is any of this accessible on your phone? So you mentioned the bulk upload is computer only. Is everything else?
It sounded like everything else was going to be mobile friendly because even when they were showing the demos, they were doing it as like the mobile when you're at like this screen, the notification screen on your phone. So I do believe the other 2 features were going to be there.
And they started as an app, like they're an app. I mean, certain things you can't interface, but they try and do most things on like usually it's the app first and then you can't find it on the computer. So Tori's asking, she has a couple questions. Is it like a CSV spreadsheet and then do they upload it just uploads to drafts then?
Well, you can tell them to push it live, but you have to, when you're doing that like template, the spreadsheet, you have to attach the photos then. If you do save it as a draft, then they can, it sounded like it would just be in the standard place on your phone where it shows you have a bunch of drafts, and then you can upload the photos there. But to me, I'm hearing a lot of time. Like that seems like it's going to take a lot of time to do that. So I'm not sure if it is going to be or not.
Yeah, I was going to say, this doesn't sound like it would be much faster because it's already so easy to list.
Yeah, I'm with girly girl style there. Okay, girl. Yeah, send them a file that's already too complicated. I'm a part-time seller, and I could say, okay, when I first saw it, I was like, okay, where do I click for this and what do I click for that? So it'll be interesting to see if they make it simpler. I mean, I'm looking at what they had on the screen where they did show the I don't know.
Or even
for me personally,
like I don't mind learning it if it's going to save me time, but based off of what you guys are saying, it doesn't sound that way. I mean, Poshmark is already
yeah, I feel like this is a great start. This is a great start that they're actually giving us this. And that's kind of what I told my husband. I was like, just little tweaks. We need to do some little tweaks as it goes.
So, which I mean is normal usually when you have something new. All right, so let's move into the hackathon. Those who have been to a Poshfest before, this is kind of where they ask the community, they hear from us, what kind of features you guys want, and then they reveal like, here's what features we're giving you, here's things that we're changing and updating. So I think a couple of things we've
really touched on a lot of it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Is there anything else?
I don't believe so.
No.
Yeah, I think we touched upon, there was the My Shoppers, there was the actions with it, and you can preview it before you send the offer. So, you could do it all and not have to worry about hitting an accidental, hitting an offer accidentally.
Can you delete something?
No, I don't think so. They didn't say, so I don't know.
That's one thing that
they didn't say.
You can't like delete any of your.
You can preview it.
Yeah.
And then the highlight to sellers, the top request they said was the data. They said, "Oh, what do you think our top request is going to be?" And I was like, "Oh, what's it going to be?"
Actually,
they said the analytics
wanting, right? And even if it doesn't get in depth, like views alone is going to be a game changer for all of us because we have no idea. Like we go in and we relist because it's been there for a while, but you have no idea. I mean, you're just guessing at strategies right now, right? This is going to actually help us because if we make money, they make money. Hello.
Yes. And you know what? Especially with the views. Okay. So that's going to directly correlate to what hashtags, what tags you're using.
Yeah.
That you're going to be like, okay, those tags work. Those tags don't. This description works. That doesn't. The flat lay, the hanging. That's really going to be huge. It's going to be really big. Well, I wish we could see where they're coming from.
Yeah, brands that are popular. I mean, it's gonna help us a lot. I mean, that alone is going to be significant. I don't use tags. Do you guys? I know you should.
I use some. I'm starting. I'm not great with it, but I'm part-time. So
it's just one.
Well, talking about tags, if we're okay with kind of segueing some of the workshops.
Yes.
This jumps into day 2, but I think that's just how we're going to go.
Yeah.
It's good in topic right now. So they talk. Oh wait, maybe was that day 1? No, that was day 1. The Google session. I call it the Google session. I don't remember what it was called.
Oh, someone had mentioned. I think Soul Inspired had said earlier that session was really good, and I wrote that down.
Yes, I did see that. I'm trying to go to the agenda right now. It was. I don't remember. Okay, but it was really good. Oh, the uncovering discovery with Google. So they actually had someone, her name was Jill, and she's the Google Digital Transformation Evangelist, which was very comical to me. But basically, she's following trends and seeing on a regular basis Google, like people are searching. And she made a point that I really liked. She was like, gone are the days when you have to pay attention to fashion blogs, the fashion week, paying attention to what's on trend, when you can just go to Google and see what people are actually searching. And she had given us 2, I took screenshots so I can tell you guys, but there's 2 public Google tools that you can go into. You just go to google.com and you search rising retail categories. And then the other one was
rising. I'm putting these in the comments for people.
Yeah, rising retail categories. That's the first one. And then the second one is Google Trends. So she said, I don't remember which one, but she said one you might have to kind of go through because it has like appliances, home decor, but then there's clothing. And my husband, I was telling about it earlier, he immediately like jumped onto Google and was starting to look. And he was like, oh, in the top 20 right now, coats and jackets are big. Ski pants and ski boots are being searched right now on Google. So we're going to start to see what people are actually, if you do kind of do the homework for it, we can start to see what people are actually searching for. And then that's where those style tags are going to be important, because the whole point of this workshop was saying, hey, so Poshmark is paying for your guys' listings to be up here. You want to be in the front. This is what you need to do. You need to start using the terms that are being searched on Google. Like, for example, she also talked about skirts. She's like, the top trending skirt style right now is maxi skirt. So it was cool to kind of see some of the different trends. And then she talked about the increase of slippers last year versus the decrease in like dress shoes, so on and so forth.
Hello, what were we all doing last
time?
Yeah. So this is interesting for the tags questions, because wouldn't you just have those in your listings anyway? Like, how is the tag going to do anything above? I mean, unless it's something like, sometimes if it's something like 70s inspired, but it's not actual 70s, then I'll put that in the tag in case someone's searching for it, because I don't want to put that in the listing and be like, this isn't actually 70s. But for the most part, like if you had a maxi dress, you would have maxi dress in your title, in your category, in your subcategory, in your description. Like Google would be pulling all that in, right? Like, did she mention why you'd want to use a tag?
Well, kind of my point with that was because the tags, you're right. The tags are going to be more important on Poshmark, but if people are already searching for this on Google, then it's making sense to use those as tags. And that's actually what I've seen as a buyer on Poshmark is, this kind of drives me crazy. I wish they would change this. But if I'm on Poshmark and I put Madewell high-rise jeans, it kind of gives me all Madewell. And I still have to go in the filter on the side and go, okay, no, actually it'll give me all jeans. I'm like, no, Madewell, because that's what I searched. And then at the top, it starts to say high-rise, mom jeans. And so I have to click those to actually get literally what I was searching and what I wrote in the bar on Poshmark. I have to almost add those filters to see exactly what it was that I was wanting to see. So I think that if people are trying to learn about styles, this would be a great way for them to learn what's on trend. For example, too, another one she talked about was people are starting to kind of get out of like the legging stage, but they want to still feel comfortable. So another trend that's really popular right now is athletic dresses. But she used a specific term, and I can't remember what it is right now, that I've never heard of for describing an athletic dress. So I think that there might be some new terms that are kind of coming up because TikTok famous or whatever sort of things are happening so fast that this might allow us to learn some of those and then be able to implement them in our styles, in our descriptions, in our titles.
Yes. So they're saying, are tags searchable on Posh or no? And I don't use them, so I don't know this.
Yeah, they are.
Okay. So if you went to the top, the tag would come up, or is there like a place where you specifically search tags?
Yes. Well, you don't search tags. If you search something, and so again, like Madewell jeans, when you go to the front, or like when the listings all pop up, right at the very top of the listings are like bubbles, and those are the style tags. So you can push that style tag, and now it'll filter all of those listings to incorporate anyone that has added that into their listing.
It seems like they're headed in the right direction with search. Because I don't shop on Posh often because it gets frustrating. I'm with you. I'm like typing something in and I want to find this, and then you can't, and then you click on a listing and you go back and you have to like research everything all over again. And
reapply every filter. Yeah.
Yes. It seems like they're kind of getting away from their main purpose though. Like, because when they do more and more of this, sharing is going to be kind of irrelevant so much. If you're like actually searching for things, it's not going to matter. So it'll be interesting to kind of see where this
evolves to. Yeah.
Thank you.
I feel like they're evolving anyway, you know, with the business and
oh, I like it.
with the automation of sharing that they're incorporating.
Yes.
I think this is all just is going to end up being not the Poshmark of old, which is not a bad thing.
Yes, right. They mentioned too in the State of the Union that they want to be the choice and I mean, there's like 25 or something ridiculous things. And a lot of places now are coming out with their own, like Anthropology, that whole little segue thing has their own. And yeah, so a lot of them. So they do have to stay with the times to keep with it. Okay. So what other, I didn't attend anything else. So you guys are kind of just in charge. What else do you want to talk about? If you guys do have specific questions, feel free to drop them down. Or if there's something in the chat that you guys wanted to specifically talk about, let us know for sure.
Well, first I did want to say, I mean, my son told me about the Google Trends. I didn't even know there was such a thing existed, but I think that's fascinating. I'm glad you mentioned that, the rising retail categories. I didn't know that was a google.com rising retail categories. I mean, that's really
I didn't either, which is why I totally geeked out on that.
Yeah,
and
that's
I
really cool.
If you guys follow my channel, you know I use Terapeak a lot, which is essentially the same thing. And that's I've done a video before. Like, I'm not that great of a reseller. I don't know the top trends. I don't know the brands. I can't keep up with TikTok and all of the. But if you just do a little research on the back end, you can figure out what people are buying. And it's not always the most popular thing.
Right.
A lot of comfort shoes, really ugly comfort shoes. So
they're so popular.
Well, you know what? I mean, I think we can start off by saying, you know, how the event went, and then, you know, we could take it from there.
A little more detail.
I really would love to hear about after this part about the TikTok aspect.
Okay.
Because I did miss that segment with that particular person, but I did see the social media segment. So, you know, basically how I felt the event went was, oh yes, way better than last year. There were too many glitches last year. Let's just face a fact. Okay. Yes. But not only that, you know, I wrote a lot of these things down because on the side they had stages and they had, you know, an expo where they have all their sponsors, and this was really clickable. But what I liked about this is they had these breakout sessions. Okay. That was my favorite, besides the main stage where you as a reseller can go in and create your own roundtable. So you could have 20 eyes. I know when I was in Renee's and you said you were in there, you could have up to 20 people on the screen, but many more eyes. So she would have 60, 55 people in there, and we could all interact through the chat besides the people that were on screen. There were giveaways.
Nice, if you were sitting at a table with people during these, that's what you would be doing.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, that's cool.
And we got to know each other really more intimately. And like I said, there were giveaways and there was so much information being shared just between one another. So it wasn't necessarily that we only had to attend these sessions that Poshmark was having. We could have our own mini sessions and share marketing tips and strategies and this, that, and the other thing in there. And what I found that I really liked about the whole event was, whether it was during the main stage, whether it was during these breakout sessions, was everyone had their own profile. So you could actually go in and DM people privately. Okay. And you could put in your information. Like if you know you're in a sourcing room, there was a vendor room, there was a authentication room, there was Renee's room, there were all these different rooms. You could go in, I call them rooms, sessions, roundtables, whatever you want to call it. And you could privately chat with people, especially if you knew and you listened to people that need sourcing help, people that need social media help, and say, look, I have a web page for more Poshmark and sourcing tips, and you could actually get emails. Girl, you got to strategize. And I absolutely loved that aspect of the event this year.
I think, and Tori's saying that too. I think with everything that's happened over the past year, a lot of that software has become much more sophisticated.
Exactly.
And there's programs that actually help do it. But that is, when you go to these conferences, half, if not more, of what you get out of it is talking and networking with other people, right? And you didn't really get that last year.
No. So, I mean, that was the main things of what I loved about the event this year. And besides the fact that they're really gearing it up towards us resellers, almost like eBay's making it reseller related. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, eBay's bringing it more towards the seller as opposed to the buyer. They're starting to transition, I feel like. I feel like this Poshmark's in a similar way by adding all of these new analytics and features. So
now I wish that I went this year. I don't know if I could have made it to everything, but
it was a lot. I was
like,
doing A's for a long time. Okay. And then I had my own with Erin. Erin led it. And we did closet consultations. So I handled the social media aspect of the closet and what links people had and what they could do better. Taking their links from their closet into Instagram, and she handled the keyword aspect.
That's great.
So you could really promote
really helpful
yourself
which is really helpful above just the content that they're creating. All right, we have about 10 minutes left because I do have to hop off early. I know that you guys did want to talk about, there was like social media and a TikTok one as well. If you guys want to go into what you guys learned on those.
Yeah, I have some stats that I like typed out when they were doing the TikTok one. So the TikTok was day 1, and they had brought in someone who's only been on TikTok for 9 months. She's now over 1 million followers on TikTok. She actually started out as a reseller, and she talked primarily about how the TikTok she just wanted to do to showcase her clothes and drive more traffic to her reselling stores. And it turned into, what'd you say? Okay, within 2 months, she hit over 100,000 followers. Within 6 months, she hit over 1 million. And she's only been doing it for about 9 months now. And she said when it really finally hit her that like her life was going a different direction was when she got a brand deal from Nike. The person who was on that was talking with her actually works for TikTok. And she was giving some stats about TikTok. She said, TikTok has now surpassed YouTube in the UK and the US. The average watch time per user, she said people nowadays will watch more content than even a movie's length on TikTok. And I mean, because we've all seen those TikToks where people are joking that 3 a.m. you're still swiping. And it's how much you can consume in such a short period of time. She also mentioned how no passion is really too niche. She's like, we have doctors, we have dentists on here, we've got teachers, we've got homeschooled moms. Like you've got a gamut of so much that she was just really saying, enjoy the content you're putting out, be passionate, be who you are. And people are just going to attach to that. Now, the thing that I found really interesting with what the gal, and I'm drawing a blank on her name now. I like literally searched her.
Paris or something. I don't know.
I've got the agenda right here. Victoria Paris. That's the girl who's on the TikTok, like has her channel there. But like, then, so I went to her Instagram, like I'm a nerd for analytics as well, especially when it comes to this. So like she's saying she has over 1 million. I like pop over to her YouTube and pop over to her Instagram. And this is the thing that has made me really start to take more interest in TikTok is I feel like you can go viral more on TikTok, but then it also translates to more traffic. Like I'm the person who, if I find someone on TikTok that I enjoy, I go click on their profile that shows, are they on Instagram or are they on YouTube? And I'll follow them there. And sure enough, she has like over, I think it was like 200,000 or 300,000 on Instagram and then pretty similar in YouTube. And so you start to really generate a lot more income all because you put some effort into one platform and it really transpires everywhere else. But the thing I thought interesting that she was talking about was they're like, how do you, bring this back to reselling to help people see how can this be beneficial for their stores? And she's like, well, you've got to treat it the same way you do when you first start with reselling. We talk about list consistently every day. We talk about going back to analytics, what's selling for you, what's not selling for you. We talk about, trying new things and taking some different risks. She would actually create 20 to 30 different TikToks in one day, put them all up, see which ones would land, which ones would take off with views or like, remove all the others, and then start doing more of what was working for her. And so that's how
for those of us that can't do 20 or 30 in one day, it is a great strategy. I do agree with that. Like look at what is actually performing for you. And that's what people like. It does not mean that sometimes if you do it in a different way, the other ones won't take off. Like I don't want people to stop doing that. No. But yeah, that's a great strategy in everything. Listing, clothing, YouTube, Instagram, like look at your numbers and see what is driving it.
Well, and let's bring it back to reality too. This girl's 22 years old. Like, she's just doing school and has a lot of time as far as TikTok goes. I am a juggling mom and kind of been single momming it for the last few months because my husband's working wildfires. So it is like, you've really got to bear in mind, what is your time best spent on? And the thing for me that I took away from is I've been doing a lot more with reels on Instagram anyways. I'm like, that's already there. Why not just put it over there? I've already created the content. I can add it there and just see what happens with it. Even
and
if you
do shorts too. I mean, that's what I quit doing it because I don't have time right now, but it's all the same. You just make it to where it's okay on each platform, because each of them have little things that you have to follow. But yeah, you're already making the content, put it on all places. Tori is saying she has gone viral on quite a few videos.
Yeah, I've watched her.
She's gotten a brand deal. I'm almost positive. I saw it in her stories. I'm pretty sure that's what she was saying from doing it. So if someone was asking about what resellers to watch, so definitely head over and watch Girly Girl Styles and on YouTube Shorts.
And Frugal Fashionista. Okay.
Yes.
I've had a couple of videos go viral too.
Yeah.
But it's hit or miss. So you can't don't feel bad if you get, I would get like 300 and then the next one could have 18,000 and then the next one could have 200. And then there's one I have right now over 100,000. So you just got to keep putting them in. And one of the content creators that Poshfest had on that was speaking about TikToks and Reels, or a couple of them, said that they can break down their content easier and produce more because they're shorter clips that they like to put on TikTok.
Yes. YouTube can become very overwhelming. We'll see where it goes. I don't feel like TikTok will overtake YouTube because I feel like they're two very different things.
They are two different things and hit different audiences.
Yes. I mean, YouTube is the second highest search engine, right? So when people go to YouTube, typically, as far as entertainment goes, if YouTube doesn't figure out how to make shorts
a thing,
then they're probably going to lose a lot of entertainment because, like you said, the numbers are there for TikTok. But with a lot of YouTube,
she was talking about that with the interviewer. She was saying that with TikTok, the first thing they asked was like, what are the stats with this social media? And she was like, we actually don't classify TikTok as a social media platform. We classify ourselves as a content and entertainment platform. So again, kind of the same aspect that you were just talking about with TikTok to YouTube. If they're viewing themselves differently, like YouTube is a search engine. People, if they need help on something, they'll search there. That's not necessarily something you can go to TikTok and do. If it swipes up in your For You page, then you might be, oh, I just learned something new. But if you're actually trying to search for something, I go to YouTube.
Yeah.
So I think they are going to be two different things.
For sure. And someone was just mentioning to keep an eye out for copyright. All right, we have like 3 minutes left because I have my daughter's conference. It's parent-teacher conference, and this was like the only slot they had right at 5 o'clock. Thankfully, they do it via online, so I can just pop on there. Yeah, it's amazing. All the technology that we have now, it's amazing. So if there's anything else that you guys had made notes of, I know there's lots more information and content. Definitely head out over to Deneen and Ashley's Instagram, TikTok, and Ashley has a YouTube. Deneen, you don't have a YouTube, right?
I do, but I'm a baby, like trying to crawl, maybe even roll over. I have one. Okay.
Well, you have great content, and all YouTube is as you get better, you just learn to edit. Really, essentially, is what it is. But you have great content, so I'm sure your YouTube video has lots of very interesting and relevant information. So if you guys, I'm sure there'll be more videos from Deneen and Ashley and content coming out on their stories and Reels. So definitely make sure to follow them. They are on social media and we'll get back to you. So if you guys have questions from this show, feel free to send them a DM. You're always welcome to DM me. I didn't go to it though. So I can answer other questions or what I've heard. But if there's anything else from these sessions that you guys really thought was relevant or that you wanted to talk about.
Cheers, ladies.
5 o'clock. Oh, it's almost 5 o'clock here. Cheers.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere, right?
I'm going to a conference. This is water, y'all.
I have to go get my kids from school, so I'm drinking water.
Mommies. I have an older boy. I got some wine, okay?
I will be doing a video this week on kind of a little bit more in depth of some of the workshops and stuff. That'll probably come out Thursday on my YouTube. But yeah, I think overall the Poshfest did still a really good job of touching the beginner, the person who wants to kind of treat this a little side hustle a little more seriously. They talked about business planning. They talked about marketing. They talked about how to integrate your social medias to help boost sales in your Poshmark store. Obviously, we went really depth with the features, but I think that's valuable. So I'm glad we spent the majority of the time on that. And then also just really reminding us that mental health is very, very important, that you need to keep your sake and sanity, because if that is really starting to be in turmoil, it's really going to affect your business. It's really going to affect your content. It's going to really affect how you show up, and even show up for your family too. So you don't ever want to burn yourself out. And so they really honed that in, which I appreciated that they spent some time doing that. And then they did talk about the future, kind of where they're headed. And I said when Poshfest first went public, they did start to allude to wanting to be a little more serious with the full timers. And I was like, I have hopes that they're actually going to do that. And everyone kept saying, no, they're probably just going to, like you were saying, like, well, their mission is clean out your closet. And so how is that really going to translate to the full timer? But I think that we were shocked and relieved that perhaps they're actually going to give us a little bit more, so that way we can make more money. I think Manish did say in the State of Unions that he really does want this to be where people can receive a full-time income. And to be honest, I kind of chuckled when he said it, because I'm like, you have to do a lot to do that. But then he went into the features and I'm like, that's a step. Okay. So I was about that.
In the right direction too, because I've seen some of the hackathons in the past and I'm like, womp, womp. Or they give us this feature and then it's like, well, that doesn't do anything for. I'm trying to think of some of them that you're like, well, that was kind of not worth it.
Yeah, these were some good features that they added.
Yeah. And I'm with you. I feel like when they went public, I was like, this is going to be their make or break it, because they have shareholders now. They're in it to make money, right? And I was like, they're going to go one of two directions. They've kind of been teetering. So this is why I haven't quit. For those of you who have been following me, I have been talking about how much I hate Poshmark all year, and how my sales have just dwindled. But make sure to watch my Wednesday video, because that was not the case last week. I reveal that was a perfect segue. Sorry guys to cut you off, but that was perfect segue into my Wednesday video. I do go over my September numbers and my split out between Poshmark and eBay, y'all. And it's very surprising in general, but if you follow me, you're definitely going to be surprised, because it's not what I've been saying all year about Poshmark. So I am very hopeful. I'm hopeful. There's a reason I haven't got off of it yet.
Yeah.
I've been holding on. So thank you guys so much. I am headed over to my daughter's parent-teacher conference, but definitely give Deneen and Ashley a follow. They are amazing content creators, so knowledgeable and always very willing to help anyone in the community. And they do lots of events and help as well. So make sure to follow them. Leave comments down below. If you guys are watching this and you do have questions, feel free to drop them in the comments and I will answer to the best that I can, or I will ask Ashley or Deneen to pop over and answer. Yeah. Or give you their information. So if you're watching this in the recording, you didn't get with us live, feel free to drop those comments and hang out with us as well. Let us know what your favorite thing about Poshfest or anything that you learned and we forgot. So have a good night, everyone. And thank you guys so much.
No, thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you.